Hey, everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Josh Jordan. You can hear us on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. This week, Scott Boras, super agent, says he attributed the rash of injuries to pitchers this past season on the pitch clock. Seemingly, the entire Astros pitching staff regressed. Maybe not injury-wise. Lance McCullers is always injured. We can't blame the pitch clock, okay? Luis Garcia, I don't know. Maybe it had something I don't know what it had to do with, but he was injured as well. But as far as performance goes, the Astros were not as good. How much of that was on the pitch clock?
I think certainly part of it's on the pitch clock, especially for a guy like Fromber, just the way, he likes to take his time and he had to adjust it. But I'm kind of wondered, what about these pitching coaches? Like seemingly everybody regressed. Ryan Presley and even Justin Verlander, he was only here for part of the year, but Fromber regressed. Javier regressed a ton. I mean, there's just across the board, all these guys did not perform as well. And with Brent Strom being gone for a while, I'm starting to wonder if he was a big part of it. Plus, they seem so reliant on Maldi to call the game. And, two batters in, the playbook goes out, and Maldi's just, calling pitches based on guys' swings. It makes you wonder, what are these pitching coaches doing here if they're relying so heavily on Maldi?
Montero, they couldn't get him out of that. He regressed. Obviously, Hunter
Stanek
Brown
too.
But they were great last year when they won the World Series. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, how could you go from so good they were the year before? You didn't need Strami anymore, right? And you won the World Series, the best bullpen in the history of the postseason, to this. So is it that the players regressed or the coaches regressed?
Probably a little bit of both, if we're being fair here. Verlander's getting a little older, so you expect some regression there. Same thing with Ryan Presley, but Christian Javier and Hunter Brown, my Lord, that's a big concern. And as we go into this offseason here, I think they got to get some more pitching. We haven't even talked about McCullers yet.
Yeah. Well, Dana Brown, I think what he said this week is pretty telling. I think you read between the lines when he says he wants to bring up young guys.
Yeah.
I think that means they're not signing many big-name or any big-name free agents. They're going to piecemeal the bullpen. They're going to get a backup catcher that's going to be cheap. They are going to, do what they can. I don't think you're finding any starting pitching, and I don't think you're going to find that outfielder. A lot of fans want to see. I'd like to see a center fielder or even a left fielder that can fill in, and then you don't need Jake Myers anymore. And Chaz can play the other position, or Chaz can DH, and Jordan can play left field. I just don't think you're going to see it with what I'm hearing from Dana Brown right now.
I don't either. And the outfield thing, sure, it'd be nice, but you saw it. You can get by with Jake Myers and Dubon and Chaz McCormick and Jordan. That doesn't worry me as much, but the pitching really does. I think they need to get one more starting pitcher. Doesn't have to be a front-of-the-line guy, with 3 or 4, somebody that can eat innings. Because I just look, Hunter Brown, his ERA was over 5. Urquidy's ERA, over 5. Fromber, who knows what Fromber you're going to get. J.P. France was actually pretty good with a 3.83 ERA, but as we pencil it in now, he's probably not even in your top 5 in the starting rotation. And with McCullers and Garcia, they're saying they hope they'll be back in July. Even if that's the case with Garcia, he's going to be limited with pitches. They're going to watch him. They're not going to let him throw too much. And with McCullers, we have no idea. It's crazy. McCullers has started only 23 games or more once in his entire career. J.P. France did that this year in his rookie year. So that just tells you you can't count on those guys. So I think you need one more pitcher just in case, because, who knows with Verlander? He missed some time last year, too, when he was with the Mets due to injury.
Yeah, you can wish in one hand, but the reality in the other hand, guess what?
Yeah.
I don't believe you're going to get it, especially a guy that's going to beat out any of those guys. I just don't believe they're going to spend the money on it. I just don't. I think you're going to have a discounted bullpen. You're going to have a backup catcher that hopefully maybe even Maldonado, which they don't want to do because pitchers are going to want to throw to him as opposed to throwing to Yiner. And I don't think you're adding any outfield either, if you want to know the truth. Listen, as bad as all those guys were this year, You were one win away from the World Series.
Yeah.
And you didn't have Verlander the whole year. I think they're going to look at it that way. We were right there with these guys, the way that they pitched last year. We're going to do it again.
Yeah, and the Rangers, Jordan Montgomery, we don't know if he's going to return. And the Astros were really good against the Rangers last year. They were, just not when it counted most at the end of the season. But I'm almost think that just get me one starting pitcher and we can figure everything else out. And I think it is going to be Maldi. Chandler Rome said they've kind of talked about a possibility as him coming back as the reserve catcher, to where maybe he catches Verlander and Fromber and then Yiner catches everybody else. To me, that feels a little aggressive. I'd like to see Yiner catching more than 3 out of every 5.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But guess what? We love Maldonado. Machete.